Do you have hypothyroidism and wondering if you can do the ketogenic diet when you have hypothyroidism? My name is Dr. Taranella. We're going to discuss this in detail. The short answer is yes, you can. The more long, nuanced answer, we're going to get into what labs to do, what things to consider, some of the research that looks at this question. So if you want to know the details, keep watching. We're going to get into it. So can you do a ketogenic diet if you have hypothyroidism? The answer is yes, you can. The thing with ketogenic diet and hypothyroid is there's a theory out there that if you, or hypothesis that if you are doing a ketogenic diet, then you're going to lower the conversion of your T4 into T3. And you say, why is that important? Well, the T3 is the active form of the thyroid hormone. So T4 doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of thyroid activity, and it's converted in the peripheral tissue. So like your cells and tissues all over your body is where the T4 is converted into T3. And this can be measured in your blood. And the theory is that if you're doing a ketogenic diet, you're going to have less of this conversion into the active form of the thyroid hormone, which is also responsible for like the thermogenic and metabolic effect of thyroid hormone. So if you're making less of this, then potentially you're going to be less metabolically active, and a lot of people are doing the ketogenic diet to lose weight, but not everybody. But in the sense that you are, then maybe you're sort of negating some of that weight loss effect by reducing the conversion of your T4 to T3. So let's take a little deeper dive into this and look at what some of the research actually says about this. Okay, so one study looked at children that were put on a ketogenic diet to prevent seizures. So these were epileptic children. They're put on a ketogenic diet, and over the course of about 1 year, they did find that there was a statistically significant increase in those that were diagnosed with hypothyroidism. About 17% of those children were diagnosed with hypothyroidism. So that is, somewhat significant. Another smaller study looked at the same demographic, and they did find a trend towards decreased thyroid function. And this was over 2 years, but they did not find a whole lot of increase in actual hypothyroidism. That study was a little bit smaller, but still there was a trend there. And then in adults, there's a few studies looking at the same question. There's two that I know of, and they did show a decrease in some of the thyroid measurements, so like a declining of the thyroid output. But there was, so specifically they saw a decrease in the conversion of T4 to T3, so the actual T3 measurement was lower, but there was no change in the T4 measurement. And they didn't show any statistically significant change or impairment in things like metabolism or the overall thyroid function, and there was no increase in thyroid symptoms. So it wasn't clear overall that people were getting hypothyroidism, but it did seem, clear that there was a decrease in the overall T3 that was in the people that they were measuring this in. So what could be going on here is possibly there's an increase in cortisol when doing ketogenic diets to mobilize stored glucose, and that increased cortisol could be taking some of the T4 and putting it into what's called reverse T3, and then that's no longer accessible to get converted into the T3. It's also possible that the body could just be more efficient, and so there's less conversion there going on. But I don't think they measured reverse T3 in those studies. And so those are two, possible scenarios that could be going on when you're doing ketogenic diet. Okay, so now you might be asking, what does this mean for me? Can I do the ketogenic diet if I have hypothyroidism? And again, the answer is yes. It's going to kind of depend. But whatever's going on here with the ketogenic diet and changing that conversion of T4 to T3, you should be, if you do have hypothyroidism, you should be a little more cautious when doing a ketogenic diet. Maybe you want to get these tests done before, or if you're already on the ketogenic diet, you should be measuring your T3 and make sure it doesn't go too low. Usually when we measure this, it's the free T3. You can also measure the reverse T3 and look at cortisol and things like this. But if you are doing ketogenic diet and you have low thyroid function, you should be measuring these things and be a little more cautious about it. But again, if you're not having a whole lot of symptoms of low thyroid, so you're not gaining weight, you're not feeling cold, you're not losing your hair, you're not feeling tired, then maybe you don't have to worry about it as much. But these are some things to think about when you're doing ketogenic diet or considering ketogenic diet and you have hypothyroidism. Okay, hopefully that answers the question, can I do ketogenic diet if I have hypothyroidism? If you like the video, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.